So today I want to tell you about the Jennifer Aniston neuron. But first, we need to go back a few steps. The brain is designed not to memorize data, but to understand. The metaphor of the brain as similar to a computer hard drive is, you might say, out the window. I mean, have you ever wondered why it takes a fraction of a second to recognize a person or an object, even when you see them under really different conditions? So let me explain the connection to Jennifer Aniston. Back in 2005, research published in the very prestigious journal Nature found something that they ended up calling the Jennifer Aniston Neuron. It was 2005. They were recording activity from single brain cells, and they found that there was this brain cell that responded to a picture of Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Aniston's voice, mention of the show Friends, and all sorts of other diverse references to her. And what that tells us about the way that the brain stores information is that we don't remember or memorize singular facts or data. We understand concepts as a whole. So that brain cell, or really more accurately, it's probably better described as groups of brain cells, understand that a picture of Jennifer Aniston, her name written down, friends, her voice, they all belong to the same idea. And it's this idea or person who is Jennifer Aniston. It actually tells us a lot about how the brain stores information. Instead of remembering individual facts or data in isolation, the brain seems to encode and store information as complete, holistic concepts. The Jennifer Aniston neuron helps us to understand that when we think of a person or an object, the brain doesn't retrieve separate bits of information about that person, so their name, their face, their voice, one at a time. It activates a concept that basically brings together all of these details as a unified whole. And it makes sense. This approach to memory is incredibly efficient because it lets the brain integrate all sorts of different sensory inputs and experiences into a single representation, making it easier to recall complex ideas. What it does is it supports the idea that our memories are not simply databases of disconnected facts, but dynamic networks of meaning where related information is all interlinked. And it helps to explain why we can immediately recognize familiar people or objects or notes from a piece of music. Our brains have stored them as rich, interconnected networks rather than isolated pieces of data. It also explains how we understand and recall more abstract or complex ideas because it integrates our experiences, our emotions, our association into comprehensive, easily accessible mental representations. One way to think about it is that there are individual neurons and each of them is responsible for its own abstract concept, say for the musical note A or for Taylor Swift. That's why you can hear the first note or notes of a song and instantly know what it is. The proof of the existence of these cells disproves the widespread belief that abstract concepts in the human brain requires complex, perfectly orchestrated interaction of myriads of neurons. The best way to think about it is that the human brain is built to understand, not to memorize. So while the capacity of the human brain is virtually unlimited, we exchange that computational space or that computational energy to really understand the things that are worth remembering.